So we're going to be talking about BODMAS in this video. Now, BODMAS represents the order of operations in maths. Now, what we mean by operations is like adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. Doing brackets and powers are also operations, but less so for us. Brackets and powers, they are in the National 4 Applications of Maths class course, but less so. So we're more going to be focusing on multiplying, dividing, adding, and subtracting. But yeah, this little acronym tells us the order in which you have to do things in. So if you have a problem with a bracket in it, you have to do that first, okay? Because the B obviously comes first. So an example of that might be 3 plus 4 in brackets, then times 2, okay? So you would do this problem, you would do the sum first. So 3 plus 4 is 7, and then you would times by 2, so your answer would be 14, okay? Then next comes O. Now, O is a little bit of an annoying one because it really stands for powers, which is like, for example, 3 to the power of 2, which, a little reminder, means 3 multiplied by itself 2 times. So that's what the little 2 stands for, because it's multiplied by itself twice, which is 9. But powers can also be called orders of magnitude, so that's why it's an O, and BPDMAS doesn't sound as good. I can't even say that. BODMAS, yeah, that doesn't sound as good. So yeah, the O stands for powers. Again, we don't really need to worry too much about powers. But it does come into the course a little bit. You know, we do Pythagoras later, and we do like areas of circles, and they have powers in them. But yeah, if you ever have a problem as a power in, you have to do the power second, okay? Then we have division and multiplying. Now, it is super important to note this. I know that the D comes first in BODMAS and then the M, but division and multiplying are a team. So for example, if you have this problem here, okay, so I obviously have multiple divisions and multiplying. I have a division and a multiplying in this question. I know that the D comes first, but you do not do the division first, then the multiplying, because division and multiplying are a team, okay? If you have multiple divisions and multiplying in your sum, always just move from left to right like you would when you're reading, okay? So in this one, you would do 10 times 2, which is 20, then divide by 4, which is 5, okay? So if you have multiple multiplying, dividing, just left to right. It's the same with adding and subtracting. I know that the A comes first in BODMAS, so you would assume that you have to do adding first, then subtracting, but no, adding and subtracting are a team. If you have multiple adding and subtracting terms in your sum, you just move from left to right. So if you had this, for example, it's not like you need to do this first, then take away from 20, you just move from left to right. So 20 take away 5 is 15, then add the 2, which is 17. Okay, so that's the basics of BODMAS. Okay, really, really, really important to remember about the division and multiplying being a team and adding and subtracting being a team. Now, this doesn't come into applications of maths that much, but I have put it in your notes just in case. It's just like a little bit of extra. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I am just going to read through it and just be aware that, you know, this information, you do have it, is in your notes. So if dealing with negative numbers, okay, if you're multiplying and dividing negative numbers, 2 positives make a positive, which I'm sure you know, okay? 2 times 3 is 6. 2 positive numbers make a positive number. 2 negative numbers also make a positive number. So -2 times -3 is positive 6. And 1 negative and 1 positive make a negative, okay? So if you had -2 times +3, you would get -6, okay? When adding and subtracting, adding a negative number is the same as subtracting. So if you had 10 plus -5, we sometimes put negative numbers in brackets just to kind of make them stand out a little bit. That would be 5. The answer to that would be 5. Because adding a negative number is the same as subtracting, so that's actually the same as 10 take away 5. Subtracting a negative is the same as adding, so if I had this, the answer would be 15, because that's the same as adding. Now, as I said, it doesn't really come up in applications of maths that much, but it's there. It's there if you need that information. Okay, so let's just do a couple of problems here. So we've got 5 plus 4 times 9. Now, we do multiplying before we do adding. So we need to do this multiplication first. Now, when doing BODMAS questions, I would recommend laying them out vertically. So you rewrite what you're not dealing with yet. I'm not dealing with the 5 or the adding yet, okay? Because I need to deal with the multiplying first. So I just write the 5 again, okay? I'm just repeating the 5. Then I do 9 times 4, which is 36, okay? And I'm just writing that below 4 times 9, so that I know instead of writing 4 times 9, I'm just writing the answer to that problem, which is 36. Then I can write my answer, which is 39, okay? Then the next one that we're having a look at is 100. Take away 10. Oh, I'm running out of space. Take away 10 divided by 2. Now, again, you need to look at your BODMAS. You need to be like, okay, what sum am I doing first? Well, I have a subtraction, and I have division. So subtraction and division, I do division first, okay? So again, rewrite what you've got down here. I'm not dealing with the subtraction, so I'm just going to rewrite that. Then I've got 10 divided by 2, which is 5, okay? Then 100 take away 5 is 95. Now, it is so important that you're careful with these, because 100 take away 10 is 90, then dividing that by 2 is 45, which is totally different from the actual answer, 95, okay? So it's really important that if you have a question that has multiple operations in it, operations just being multiplying, dividing, etc., just be careful with what order you are doing them in.